Ted has been such an influence on travelers and riders, not just motorcycle travelers and adventure riders, that I think his friends convinced him he ought to create a foundation to encourage other people to share the kinds of observations and inspiration that he's shared in his lifetime. And so he's here tonight to talk about that. It's happening in a big way, and I know you have some resistance to it, but why don't you tell us about the foundation and how you became convinced that it was actually a good idea?
The thing that really made me laugh at the whole idea when it was first put to me was just that, for me, foundations, like all those things that they keep talking about endlessly on NPR and so on, foundations are for people who've got lots of money and they're looking for ways to give it away. And the idea that I would have a foundation is so ridiculous. But then gradually it was explained to me that because of the success of Jupiter's Travels and the kind of book it is, that it would really be a good idea to try to persuade more people who travel to put a bit more effort into looking around and seeing what is actually going on in the places that they're traveling through, rather than just being involved, which is okay, but just being involved in their own personal sort of fears and triumphs and disasters and all the things that make a good travel story. And I really feel I'm really sold on this. I think that there are enough of us wandering around the world now on motorcycles that if we were able to actually funnel our feelings and our spirit into the world, it could make a difference. The thing about travelers is, as I said somewhere, you never heard of a traveler coming back with a negative message. People come back with really good, positive feelings, and of course there are lots of things to hate in this world. Everybody comes back saying, "Gosh, aren't people great? Aren't people wonderful?" And we just need to spend more time figuring out what makes them wonderful. How do they survive and retain these wonderful qualities in countries that are corrupt and miserable and poor and riven by all kinds of ethnic hate and so on. And we need to be able to tell the story from an individual personal point of view to the rest of us. Well, this is not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. I was a professional journalist and a writer before I started, so it came naturally to me to do it, and even then it was hard work to get it right. And I'm not saying that everybody can come back from a journey and just sit down and write a brilliant book or produce a brilliant film or whatever. What we need is for people to stop and think a bit more about the real meaning of the things that are happening to them and are happening around them. And that's really what this enterprise is all about. It's trying to persuade people to understand what's happening around them, to find a way to communicate what their conclusions, so that others will read. We're trying to get a bunch of people together who will be able to help those who want to do this. We've got some quite smart people who can advise on writing and filming and so on. And we've invented a nice little category called Jupiter's Travelers, who and the people that we think can really have a good chance to make it work. will glory in this title. They'll have a sticker, they'll have a little emblem they can put on their websites. But people can be part of something that they can be proud of, and I'm hoping that gradually this will grow into something really valuable. I'm lucky that that a small group of people started from the start, got very involved. That's the people who proposed it in the first place are Chris Miles in New York and Ian Harper in England, near London. So those two were there, and then Kate Kilburn, who was a friend of mine, just happened to be with me when we were talking about all this. And she's the one who invented the title, the Jupiter's Travelers, and then we have Erdem Yücel, who's a lovely Turkish guy down in LA.
Jupiter'sTravelers.org, and that's travelers with 2 L's for us in the United States.
It doesn't have to be. We bought both versions.
Oh, good for you, Ted.
We got, you can go to 1 L or 2 L's if you like.
There's a number of events coming up this Sunday, and then beyond, some awards. Tell us what's happening.
Yes, well, I mean, here's how we hope it's all going to work. We decided that it was a bit of a rush, but we figured that we should get on with it, and so the anniversary of the beginning of Jupiter's travels, which was October the 6th, is when we're going to officially launch the foundation. And we're going to do this in the museum in England where the good old Triumph is sitting. He's a permanent resident there. And I just today worked it out with Stephen Burgess, who lent me the bike to do the second journey, that he would love to bring that up there as well. So we'll have both bikes for both journeys, and then we're going to have a lot of fun introducing everybody to everything and explaining to the eager world what it is we're up to.
And there's going to be an auction. You have some
yes.
fascinating things on auction. Chris Scott's
yes.
jackets, all kinds of
yes.
Your helmet. Tell us about those.
Lowest prices knickers.
Lowest prices knickers. You're going to go for more than anything else.
So, and then I'm staring right at this helmet that I kept from my first trip, and I have no idea why I kept it. It hangs around. I suppose there must have been some minor sort of vestigial attachment to it. It's a battered old thing that I got from Triumph in 1975 from the shop in LA. But I wore it very happily for the second half of the journey. It's got the Triumph racing stripes on it. And it would be a very dangerous thing to wear because it's got no lining and it's got no visor and it rattles around. But apparently this is going to be worth a vast amount of money.
I think so.
I put a feeler out asking what people thought it was worth, and the responses ranged everywhere from $1,000 to £25,000.
Goodness, okay.
Can't wait. And then there's Austin Vince's overalls, his famous overalls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there could be anybody who doesn't know Austin Vince in his overalls.
Well, I saw him in a pink pair of overalls at the Overland Expo. He was quite fetching to you.
Yes, he was in his pink. He does, but these are blatant white, and they were and they were the ones that took him across Siberia, I think.
Uh-huh.
So those will be immensely valuable to anybody who wants to ride it across Siberia could not go wrong wearing those overalls. It seems to me that would practically ensure success, don't you think?
I think it must, yes. They'd have to wear Lois's knickers with them.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, they are married. Right.
I'm going to be up there talking, and then there's going to be sort of a lot of visual stuff, and the other thing that's come up is that I'm pretty certain that we're going to produce finally a book of photographs from that first trip. Some people have said they actually are good photographs, but even if they weren't, the things that I was able to point my camera at then were so marvelous. On the night of the launch, we'll be able to show a few pages from the book as we would like it to be, and maybe on the screen, and then we will offer a series of limited numbered editions with extra special stuff, front and back, and people's names printed and so on. And I'm hoping that there'll be enough people excited about that to raise a bit more money for the foundation. And the one thing, of course, which seems so remote to me now, but which I would really like, is if we could finance some kind of a place where returning travelers could go, rather like those writing retreats, where they could go and spend some time and writing something, getting something down properly. And of course, the best possible place to do that would be just on my place. Since I'm going to be doing some of this mentoring myself, that would be a really smart thing to do it. And we could do it, it wouldn't have to cost us very much.
Well, I'm sure you're going to have there's going to be a lot of competition to be a Jupiter's Traveler.
Yes, and we're going to have annual awards, and I think it'll be really nice. I think, people can apply to be a Jupiter's Traveler on the website, jupiterstravelers.org. There's an application process, and you have to tell us where you're going or where you've been, but most of all, you have to tell us what it is you actually want to do. What is the project? How do you see it coming to fruition? What? Give us a sample of what it is that you might want to end up with, and that will help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think anybody would be thrilled to win that award and to work with you on a book or a film or some kind of media to share, and the world will be inspired. So good job, Ted. I look forward to seeing it evolve.
All right, great. Well, it's wonderful to be able to tell the world.